Hello and welcome to another episode of Unlocking You 2.0. My name is Balwinder Marwaha. I am your transformational leadership coach. Alongside with me is Spencer Bonin, certified emotion code and body code practitioner. We're back this week. You've been hearing from us all week. We're talking about how you can boost your immune system. And going into the winter months, people tend to get a little bit more sick sometimes. So, you always want to be on your A game when it comes to your immune system. And today is all about getting enough Z's, really getting enough sleep. So, Spencer, let's talk about the subconscious side of sleep and, the impacts and the effects it has on our body.
Absolutely, and thank you so much for that. Because yeah, it really is the season for people to get more sick, and no, not just because of COVID. It's not every sickness out there, just to say.
Yeah.
But anyways, I remember this meme. It was like talking about how like 2020 was like, oh, it causes like low gas mileage and like all this stuff, and it just cracked me up. Anyway, I was like, oh, that's why. Anyway, I digress. So as far as sleeping is concerned and the immune system, it really is something. It's your time of rest, and it's your time of rejuvenation. It's your body's time to be able to kind of just settle in, not utilize anything else too extraneously, and use that time to really kind of get everything working properly in your body. And the thing is if you're not getting enough sleep and you're not getting a restful sleep, then
Yeah.
all of that time is basically wasted, and your body is going to start going into atrophy because you're not getting enough sleep. It's so important to get this sleep. And I'm going to talk about a couple of the main reasons, or a couple of very common reasons as to why you might be experiencing
Mm.
restlessness or lack of sleep. And the first thing that kind of comes to mind is well, in the body code. What we do is we utilize energies as well as other very common factors, like the whole system of the body. So right now we're going to talk about the brain gland of the amygdala. And in your amygdala, if there's an imbalance with the amygdala, that could create a chain reaction of a lot of different things, which is contributing to why you're not getting enough sleep. So the amygdala in itself is the gland responsible for the fight or flight response in the body. When the amygdala is imbalanced, what happens is it triggers, which then tells the hypothalamus, which then tells the pituitary gland, which then activates your adrenal glands to start releasing stress hormones, which then, if there's a bear there, that makes a lot of sense. Oh my gosh, I need to fight or flight. I need to get out of here, or I need to fight it, right? We all know what this is. But the thing is if your amygdala is imbalanced and it's triggering by itself, your body's in a constant state of fight or flight. So if you're trying to sleep, you have elevated heart rate, you have elevated anxiousness, you can have digestive problems, high blood sugar, you're easily startled. So all these different things that are kind of common imbalances with this thing, or with this particular gland, it's keeping you up at night, and it's preventing you from having the greatest sleep you can possibly have. So we can find that, and we can release energies or whatever is going on. We can go in through muscle testing and find out specifically what's causing that imbalance. But if we can get your amygdala imbalanced, then a lot of times you're going to have a better sleep as a direct result of it, because you're not inducing those stress hormones as a result of that imbalance. Secondly, another huge thing is the parathyroid. They're kind of like four little glands on the back of the thyroid there that kind of control and regulate the amount of calcium that goes into your or it gets regulated in the bloodstream, kind of taking from the bones, or preventing it from going out the liver, and all this other kind of stuff, right? But a common imbalance with the parathyroid is muscle spasms, and oddly enough, wonder why that would be difficulty sleeping. If you're having muscle spasms all the time, guess what? You're probably going to have a not very restful sleep. So
Yeah.
these are a couple of just really highly common imbalances that could really be potentially sabotaging the restful sleep that we need, and amongst many other things. So, and obviously with this is when we kind of address these issues, it's going to really help your immune system and just help it thrive and get to the point of where we want it to be. So with that, that's kind of some of the stuff I have on the subconscious side. What's going on consciously, Valley?
Yes. So you know what? Thank you so much, Spencer, for that. Because look, these are the things you spoke about are things that people don't talk about, and nobody really addresses them. You could go to your doctor and say, I'm not sleeping well, and they're not going to talk about everything Spencer just talked about. So thank you for that. What I want to talk about is more on the conscious side and, the reality. And so what I want to do is actually want to start with kids. As a parent, I have 2 children. I know what happens to their behavior when they don't get enough sleep. Not only do they become a lot more whiny, they cry easier, they get more emotional, they injure themselves way more when they haven't had good restful sleep. And so just imagine that that's what happens to a child. Okay. So as a grown adult, imagine how much more is going to happen to you when you're not getting enough sleep. And the thing is we feel like, oh, we've got control of this, but the truth is we don't, as Spencer just mentioned. And so when you're not getting enough sleep, you're going to become somewhat irrational. Your decisions and your judgments won't be sound. Your focus isn't going to be the greatest, and your immune system will suffer. So, it's easy enough for me to say, okay, these are all the things. Well, how do we correct it? Well, the first part is really owning your schedule. And if you're one of these people who are like, okay, I'm going to go to bed at 10 o'clock, but then you're still scrolling through your social media feed at 10:30, or like, okay, I'm going to watch an episode of this on Netflix, but then it was like really good and it had a cliffhanger, and you're like, oh man, I got to watch the next episode. And then,
Yeah.
oh, I'm going to watch one more. And now all of a sudden it's 1 in the morning and you got to wake up for work the next day at 7 or 8 or 6, whatever it might be. Well, that is not owning your schedule. And so you definitely want to own your schedule. And it's crazy because as you get older, it becomes more and more, and you probably all have seen this, and anyone that's watching right now that, is older, I say in quotation marks because that's very, it's up to you what you consider older, but,
Just never.
as you age, you tend to start waking up earlier naturally. That's just the natural process. I know my mom wakes up at like 4:35 in the morning, and I'm like, oh my God, mom, why are you up so early? Go to bed, and she's like, I just wake up. So, she's also going to bed at a decent time,
Mm.
and she's not watching Netflix or scrolling her social media feed. But you know, the reality is that if we're not owning our schedule and we're not making sure that we're getting to bed at a good time and really getting good quality sleep, it is going to affect not only our immune system, but a lot of other things in life as well. And ultimately your success. But lastly, what I do want to say is, getting enough sleep, there's things you need to do to prepare for that. So some of the things you need to do to prepare for getting enough sleep is try to eat 3 hours before you're going to go to bed. That's the optimum time to eat dinner is 3 hours before bed. Um, Try to um, not have a lot of screen time before bed. And it's crazy because that's when we tend to use our screens the most. But, and I could, I don't want to go into this too much detail, but the blue light that's emitted from screens, and even if you turn on the blue light filter, it's still not great because it's going to take time for your body to start to wind down and shut down after that. So an alternative, grab a book before bed.
Mm.
Reading a book is one of the best things you can do. Um, and that'll really, really help you. Now, having said all of that, if you're having a tough time getting enough Z's in, getting enough sleep in um, throughout the night or regularly in your life, connect with Spencer, connect with myself. Spencer can do an energy session and really work with you and figure out what's blocking you. But I can really figure out and work with you of, maybe it's a schedule issue. Maybe we need to control your schedule.
Yeah.
Maybe it's things that you're eating, or maybe it's something in your diet on the conscious side I can help you with. So um, let's figure out how we can help you. Make sure you're getting enough sleep and really allow you to be the best version of yourself on all aspects of your life. So Spencer, is there anything else you'd like to add?
That's pretty much it. That's amazing. So, with that, guys, like I have nothing else to add. We've covered it both on both sides here, like we do. And if you're interested in learning more about this, or maybe if like Bally was saying, if you feel like maybe you struggle with getting that sleep, I know there's a lot of people out there who have a very difficult time sleeping. If that's you, connect with us. Like Bally already said, we'll really, really help you on the conscious and the subconscious side with that. And then, if you're interested in, becoming the best version of yourself as well, check out our website. It's at leadyourideallife.com. When you go there, you'll find a couple of videos. It'll get into a little bit more depth and get you excited about what we're doing and how we really want to impact and change the world and change your life as well. And on top of that, today we have another webinar and I'm so excited because we do this every week, but it sells out every single week. So if you're really someone who wants to figure out, how can I make the most of 2020, even though there's only 2 months left? How can I really take these last even 2 months and just propel myself forward and use that 2 months to springboard me forward into everything else in my life? You want to be on tonight's webinar. We only have a few spots left. So just go to 2020recoverymanual.com, get registered, check out the webinar. Worst case scenario, you don't like it really, but the best case scenario is you can get some amazing information that's really going to impact your life. So definitely check that out. With that, that's all I have for you guys today. And that's all I think for both of us. And I hope you guys have a phenomenal rest of your day, and we will see you again tomorrow. See you guys.
Thank you.